The end is near. NFL football coming to a close. It's been a great season. Honestly, we've had so much happen this year. It's been a big time to be a New York fan. So many storylines, but we're down at the Final Four, and this is where it gets good. Here you see 4 teams remaining. Here on Keeping Score, we have broken down most of the NFL season and the entirety of the playoffs, and we're excited to keep doing that with you. I'm Theodore Fernandez. They call me T-Money. Because my picks are cash, they have been this year. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But I'm joined by my great team of analysts, as always. Candyman, we usually introduce you last. Today we'll let you go first, We'll let you talk early today. How's it going?
Not good.
Not good, okay.
Okay, I could do some better picks, but we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will get to that later. Great to have the Candyman on. Now, if you notice the set, none of us are rocking NFL apparel today. Big Daddy, great to have you sitting next to me. What's up?
Not too much. It's great to be here. So looking forward to talking about this weekend's football.
Yeah, and as I was saying about none of us wearing apparel, M-Dog, our Giants lost. What went wrong?
You know what? I don't even have the whoop, whoop, whoop right now.
Yeah, no dog pound
none of us
today.
are wearing the team swag. And neither of us knew we were going to do that. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I thought maybe one of us would wear some football gear here, but it's a bummer. I was actually going to wear my Pro Football Hall of Fame hat, actually, which might have been good. Maybe next week, but I have one from '04, and it was an induction Pro Football Hall of Fame hat. And in that year, Barry Sanders got inducted, and I was going to show it off for Big Daddy. Maybe next week if I get my picks in and they're good.
I'll appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, I couldn't wear any Giants stuff after the beatdown we took. It was a rough game. Philly just was on top of us really for a good portion of the game. They're playing in the NFC Championship, believe it or not, and that's a game we'll cover. But before we do that, we have some records to look at. We pick the games, and we don't just pick them for fun. We pick them for bragging rights. Let's take a look at the records. I'm 8-2. T-Money is always straight cash. M-Dog, you're right behind me, though.
Give me a break, all right? I would have been 8-2 if I hadn't picked the Ravens, okay? So, okay. If you're conservative, of course you could be 8-2.
8-2, numbers don't lie, and Big Daddy's right next to me, also 8-2.
Hey, those numbers don't lie. 8-2 is pretty good. Sorry, Candyman.
Yeah, look, I think we should, make a line right here, right? We can cut off the studio, right, and just let the three of us be on the show because Candyman's just not getting it done for us.
Well, I don't think he numerically can catch up either.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he's done.
Yeah, sorry, Candyman. We're not going to Florida this year.
We're not going to Florida, which is very disappointing. That Bills performance was very disappointing.
Yes.
We wanted a closer game. Bengals were the better team last week. Let's see what they can do moving forward.
That was a game that I thought would be a down to the wire thriller. It was not since he controlled the game. But enough the AFC. We'll get to that later. That's the late game on Sunday. The early game, 49ers-Eagles, as we alluded to earlier. And, we don't have a lot to talk about today. So, M-Dog, I'm going to let you take the spotlight. And let's assume you're a 49ers diehard. Break down this team and break down why, hypothetically, they could go all the way this year.
Well, here's what I think they have to do. All right. I was a little nervous with some plays last weekend. Brock Purdy's got to be conservative. All right. I think if they just make some small plays, screens, nothing too crazy like the one you might be looking at right now. Because Kittle's tall, but he's not that tall. All right. That could have turned out to be a turnover there. But I think if Brock Purdy can make some conservative plays, they got plenty of weapons to move it downfield. Little steps, small steps. They got more than one running back there, and they got more than one receiver. They're not going to rely on this guy who is not 6'9". All right. You do that against the Eagles, that might be trouble. So, a little conservative. They don't have to throw that ball. They don't need the Hail Mary downfield, and I think they'll be competitive. Oh, it's going to be a close game.
Yeah. Brock Purdy, he seemed human. He truly seemed like a rookie to me, at least, in that Cowboys game. I don't know what you two think about that. He seemed, you saw the play where he almost threw the ball out of bounds, almost cost him a shot at the field goal.
Well, the score would indicate that because it was a game heavily scored with field goals.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of touchdowns, kind of boring play, and everybody's human. You can't be a superhuman every week, and Brock Purdy's only playing in less than his 10th game ever.
Yep,
yeah.
That's right.
Right.
So let's be realistic here.
With that being said, though, he has never lost. He's still undefeated. Big Daddy, you were the only one to pick Philly last week. They've got a great team. What would they need to do to be the first ones to knock off Brock Purdy?
You know what? Jalen Hurts came out of the game, first possession, threw a long pass, and then right here, it was that first touchdown, one-handed pass to Goddard. They're just going to come out firing. I mean, Jalen Hurts was on fire this weekend. He looks like the injury really didn't affect him. And they just kind of went all over the Giants. And Goddard, I think, caught 2 touchdowns this game. So again, it's one of those things that it's pretty impressive. That one-handed catch, pretty cool.
Sadly, that was the first of many touchdowns scored against our Giants.
Too many.
It was.
Too many. Yeah. That was not a fun game to watch. I was getting excited all day. The game comes on, and it was rough. I've been hating on Philly a little all year. Hard to do that now. But, we've got picks to make, right, Candyman? And, they've given us their takes on the game. So who do you see coming out on top?
This is a tough game to call. I mean, Philly is clicking on all cylinders, even though Jalen Hurts has got the shoulder issue. They got A.J. Brown. They got Dallas Goedert. They got, a good backfield. I think both of these teams are the top 2 defenses in the league. I did want the Giant-Eagles game to be closer. Obviously, the Eagles were the 1 seed, and they had the bye. I'm sticking with the Niners, though. I'm one of those guys. I stick with my original picks. I don't revert back. They have a lot of talent, too. I think the McCaffrey trade earlier this year was huge for them. It totally changed their season and turned it around. You got Ayuk over there. You got Deebo Samuel. And George Kittle, when healthy, like we saw in that play, there's a lot of weapons, and their defense is good, anchored by Bosa as well. So I'm going to stick with the Niners. I'm hoping it's a high-scoring, powerful, output game, and I want a lot of scoring. I don't want a lot of defense. That's what I want to see.
I do too. Scoring on these defenses will be tough. I think we could be in line for, high teens, low 20s game. I think it will be close, but I think the Niners will prevail. We saw them go on a decent run last year all the way to the championship game. I think this year they break through, make it to the Super Bowl. All right, M-Dog, you hyped up San Francisco for us earlier. Did you believe what you were saying?
Well, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one. So, true to nature, I'm going to go against the grain, though.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to have to pick Philly. I mean, I wanted to pick them last week, but, I didn't have the courage to go against Big Blue. But honestly, I just think they're playing at home. It'll be a little nippy out there. We'll see what happens. I just think Philadelphia is going to sneak it out, and I think I'm gonna throw a name out there that might just score a touchdown there, and Boston Scott, okay? He's one of my heroes. Let me tell you something. Okay. Don't know me, okay? It's very easy to pick the obvious guys, right? Yeah, A.J. Brown, 3 touchdowns. I just think Boston Scott, he'll get in there somehow. I'm a little biased. He's my hero. He's 5'6". I'm 5'6". Plus, my first name's Scott. Boston's a great town, too. Boston Scott's going to score. It's going to be the difference in the game.
Here's the thing with Boston Scott. He can only score against the Giants. He has 19 career touchdowns. 11 of them, or 12 of them now, I believe, have come against the Giants. It's like, look, I hate this man so much. He always decides to have a great game when he plays the Big Blue. It's just a guy I can't stand to watch play. Look, I mean, I don't see him doing it against San Francisco. I think when he plays the Giants, he turns into prime Barry Sanders, but is he
got a lot of weapons. Philly's going to have to mix it up a little bit. We'll see.
We will see, and look, Big Daddy, you were the only one to take Philly last week. You were the only one to get it right. Are you going to keep riding them to the Super Bowl?
You know what? You would think that I'm going to go with the hot hand and go with Philly, but I think that between Philly and the Niners, I think the Niners are going to win. So I think that with the offensive weapons and San Francisco's defense, I think they're going to take down Jalen Hurts.
Very interesting. So we have a divided room on that NFC game, the AFC Championship, another game people are projecting to be very close. Not a lot of people know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, there's a big question mark for the Chiefs, Candyman. Walk us through this Chiefs team.
What do the Chiefs need to do to win? They need to inject as many cortisone shots as possible into Pat Mahomes' ankle. All right, he needs to be healthy. Not saying they can't be in the game if Chad Henne gets in. If you look at this Jacksonville clip, Etienne and Jaguars were in the game. I think in the third quarter, the Chiefs only had a 3-point lead. And then you're going to see here, the Jaguars are trying to march down, have a drive. But then this nice, great pick by Jalen Watson with a sloppy throw there. And this kind of sealed the deal for the game. I'm not saying the Chiefs are a bad team. I think they played sloppy. and they got away with one against a lesser opponent. They're not going to be able to do that against the Bengals. In order for them to win, Spagnola's got to really dial up a great defensive game plan. I think the Bills last week were afraid to really go up in the face one-on-one with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Boyd, and they were playing zone. And in that sloppy snow game, they were just getting these little dink and dunks, 5-yarders, handing it to Joe Mixon. I think they have to get aggressive here. They got to blitz because that's the only way they're going to beat this Bengals team that's on fire.
Look, the Bengals are just on a roll right now. They have not lost a football game since October. You know, there were questions about can they go into Buffalo and knock off the Bills in the wake of all the DeMar Hamlin stuff as well, and it was not even a close game. So let's take a look at Cincy here because there's a very, very clear example of how this team loses. Now, you see the clip here. I'm going to do exactly what I'm going to say, but Jamar Chase is just so explosive. You know what he can do. He will make defenses pay. And the fact that, you've guys like Boyd and Higgins as second and third options is just absolutely absurd. Like, the wide receiving core is so stacked. The offense will step up. The only way to beat them is with elite quarterback play. And that's why, it's hard to put much faith into the Chiefs unless they have Mahomes playing at full strength. So, all right, guys, look, there is your breakdown of the game. M-Dog and Big Daddy, you two are going to take it first, so Mara, give it to us.
I think I'll ride the Bengals wave. They got a lot of offensive weapons. But then again, I'm never right. So, but I don't want to see Mahomes go to the championship game again because, how many Super Bowls does he need? Let Joe Cool taste victory.
Well, remember, Mahomes only has one Super Bowl. Burrow can tie him up with a win this year, and that would really set up a great debate for, who's the face of the league. I'm very excited to see what Cincy can do. Big Daddy, what do you say?
I think recent history, the Bengals have beat Kansas City the last 3 games, I believe. So I'm going to ride that wave and say Cincinnati against KC.
Candyman, your turn.
I'm gonna, I don't think Joe Burrow can overtake Pat Mahomes as the face of the league. I think the Chiefs, what they need to do too is Pacheco, running game.
Yes.
Control the clock because this explosive offense can score at will. You saw them do it against the Bills. I think it's a close game. If you remember last year, they were down 18 points, the Bengals. They came back to win the game. There's some smack talk going on. Willie Gay is saying, nothing bothers me about the Bengals offense. And they're calling Arrowhead Burrowhead because Burrow has won the last 3 meetings at Arrowhead. I think the Bengals are just too en fuego right now. I am going with the Bengals, even though I'm a Pat Mahomes guy. Bengals.
This has all the makings of a trap game. Everyone seems to be riding Cincy right now. It's like, can you really count out Mahomes? I don't know. I think you can, though. Look, I'm usually one to go against the grain, right? I usually make somewhat surprising picks. If you remember our show last year, I rode Cincinnati all the way to the Super Bowl. And that's really where I made my name is T-Money. Because I was picking Cincinnati to go on this incredible run. And now that they're kind of the establishment, it's like, okay, can I still pick them? I think I can because I really, really do think that they are an elite football team and a powerhouse in the NFL right now. So that's going to do it for the bulk of our show. We broke down our picks.
One thing.
Okay. Yeah, bring it on.
The Chiefs are the establishment, 5 AFC title games in a row.
Yeah.
They got to win this one to even be in that conversation, in my opinion.
But if the Bengals can win this game, right, that would make it 2 straight Super Bowl appearances. It would make Burrow 4-0 in his career against Mahomes, including those 2 championships. It's like, I don't know. It'd be a tough debate between Burrow and Mahomes, if you ask me at least.
Let's see what happens.
That can be a talking point for next. 2 weeks from now when we do our Super Bowl preview show. If the Bengals win, if the Chiefs win, we have a whole other conversation. And don't forget that NFC game. We have so many storylines that can unfold. So, look, I'm excited for it, but we're going to let you all speak one more time. Candyman, anything else you want to say before we wrap?
No, I'm picking the Bengals, but I like Pat Mahomes. I hope he's taking a lot of jazz baths right now to heal that ankle so he's at 100%, and the Bengals have no excuse, win or lose. And we have not mentioned Kelsey.
We haven't. That's absurd.
He's X factor. Enough said.
Yeah. Look, I think as football fans, we should all be rooting for Mahomes to be out there playing and, we're in store for what could be an all-time classic if he is out there. Big Daddy, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
You know what? Both games I think are going to be great games. I think that it's going to be great football this Sunday. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, and whoever wins, that Super Bowl is going to be pretty amazing. So out of the 4 teams that are left, I think that they're going to put on some good show in 2 weeks.
M-Dog, I just want to give a shout out. This is the first time that we've had an M-Dog on our show without me making fun of him for his Denver pick. So look, you're established on the show now, like where we're forgetting the past. How's that feel?
Well, it feels good, and I want to thank Candyman for that, what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah, we have a new
because,
person to pick up
when
on,
there's a
yeah.
new person to pick on. But it's funny, you mentioned Kelsey, Candyman. It's funny, 3 out of the 4 teams left have great tight ends. Yeah. And I feel whoever has, we showed the 2 clips between Philly and San Francisco, we'll see which team gets better production and a better game out of their tight end. And that might be your winner.
Hurst on the Bengals tight end, he had a touchdown.
Hayden Hurst is very, very talented. He's a guy who's really coming into his own this year.
Yes.
Speaking of tight ends, though, I love the way the 49ers play. I just want to say this before we close. Have Kittle out there blocking, have Kyle Juszczyk out there as a fullback. Why are fullbacks dead? Why did the NFL decide to move on from fullbacks? Everyone loves fullbacks.
Bring them back.
We need to bring back fullbacks. I think we can all agree on this, right?
Sure.
Big Daddy, we can throw you out there at fullback, right, for the Bengals? You want to get out there and throw some blocks?
Sure, I'll throw a couple blocks out
Or
there.
for the
Throw a
Warwick
couple
Valley
blocks.
Television football team.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
We'll have
create
a
that.
studio football game.
Yeah, I'd like to be the
football game.
GM of
There you
that
go.
team.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I can make the field.
Yeah, I think we need you out there. I think you can play.
I'll be the
QB4.
kicker.
Okay, look, enough talk about playing football. We're in this chair for a reason. We're the analysts. I don't think you want to see us out there on the field. It's okay, though, because we have some great, great people to watch out on the field in the coming weekends. Look, it's been a great time breaking down the games with my host. It's been keeping score for WBTV. I'm T-Money.